Welcome in another week, another edition. It's the SPO Ballers League Week in Review coming to you live from the confines of the SPO Championship Studios here at Job Corps. This week, a lot of interesting stuff, some new names that are going to the top of the list and certain things. So without further ado, let's talk about it. All right, so this week on Monday, you had version 3 wins with an eye on Wednesdays, the headline in the newspaper. Now, what does that mean? Version 3, the second seed in the league with the second best record, looks to dethrone 2.0, and we'll talk more about whether they were able to do that on Wednesday a little bit further in the show. But 2.0 survives to go to 8-0 in a low-scoring ball game. Barnes and Cornett, outstanding defense by Cornett. Barnes has been playing the best ball of the season so far here late in the season when it counts the most, especially with the absence of Joe Brown, who hasn't been here now for 2 whole weeks. That's only 3 games because of the holiday, but 2.0 was able to go 3-0 during that stretch. All right, so, and earlier, version 3, they did win 77 to 69, and free agent 4 was unable to maintain their lead late in the game. Ryan Wolf again with a high score in that game. Now let's move on to the headlines in Wednesday's game. 3.0 finishes the season undefeated, so that tells you a little bit about the eye that version 3 had on that game. Another big game for them. They were unable to stop, especially again, we keep talking about it in the second quarter when Ryan Wolf comes out of the game, unable to stop 2.0. But 2.0 continued to turn it on. Seth with some outstanding defense, and Barnes, that was the first game of the day, had his season high 40 points in the game. Just he went off from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, and we thought that for sure he had it locked up to be the high scorer of the day. But little did we know in the second game, another guy got super hot. Ronnie Wyatt just absolutely caught fire, inside out, hitting 3-pointers, and was able to edge him out. It got exciting at the end of the game. He was able to edge Barnes out by 1 point, scored 41 points, and he was the leading scorer of the day on Wednesday as Next Gen secured the 3rd seed, which means they won't have to play 2.0 in the first game of the playoffs. They'll be playing version 3. All right, so moving on. Now let's talk about the standings after the season. Cut short because 1 week was lost to one situation, and in the holidays there were only 9 games as opposed to 12. 2.0 finishes the season 9-0. Version 3 finishes the season 4-5. Next Gen 3-6, and Fast Attack 2-7. 2.0 the only team to finish with a winning record. All right, so let's talk about Monday. We talked a little bit about it. Top scores on Monday. Ryan Wolf with 34 points. The anonymous baller had 27. Ronald Tuck, 24. Ronnie Wyatt, again, a name that's starting to creep up, a rookie, right there with Ronald Tuck. Ronnie Wyatt had 16 points. It's going to be a close call for the Rookie of the Season award. Those are 2 candidates. Also, Isaiah Barnes, 12 points, and also Nathan Harold, another rookie who's been a little bit up and down, but he's had some really good moments. But I'm not sure, depending on how the voting goes, if he's going to be up there in the voting, because Ronnie Wyatt has really caught fire. Ronald Tuck has been solid, throughout the season. So that's Monday. Now let's talk about the Monday overachievers. Ronald Tuck, 9.5 points over his average, is the number 1 overachiever. Mr. Crum, 3.1. Pascal, 2.8. The anonymous baller, 2.2. And Nathan Harold, 1.6. Now let's talk about those underachievers. So we talk about the big game that Isaiah Barnes had. Well, on Monday, he had a quiet game, and he finished as the top underachiever, minus 8.1 points under his league average, or season average. William Haywood, minus 4.9. Damon Holly, minus 2.4. Dalton Zorns, minus 2. And Dominique Howell, minus 1.8. Now, moving on to Wednesday, top scorers. We talked a lot about this. Ronnie Wyatt with the huge 41-point day. Isaiah Barnes right behind him. It was a battle, 40 points. Ryan Wolf, a little slow on that day, only 30 points. And I think we actually audited, and this may not be accurate. I think that he may have had, it was 34 points. So anyway, we'll have to take a look at that. Ronald Tuck, a big game, 26 points, and the anonymous baller, 24 points. Okay, so Wednesday's overachievers, Ronnie Wyatt, 25.6 points. Ronnie has not been scoring that many points or even in the 20s, so that huge game makes him by far probably, no, not probably, I don't have to look it up. That's the highest overachiever of this season. Behind him at almost 20 points, 19.9, Isaiah Barnes. Now, Isaiah averages right around 20 points, so his 40-point game wasn't quite as a big difference as Ronnie's was. Ronald Tuck, another guy with the rookie of the season, 11.5 points. Damon Holly, 4.6. And Seth, who averages 3.6, he finished with 4.4 points over his season average. Now, to those underachievers, Ryan Wolf averages almost 42 points. He was minus 7.7. Nathan Harold was minus 4.4. The anonymous baller was minus 2.8. Dominic Howell, minus 1.8. And Mr. Crum at almost 1 point. Now, let's talk a little bit about the season average. So we'll talk about first the top five. Top five, Ryan Wolf, 41.7. Joe Brown, 29.7. The anonymous baller, 26.8. Isaiah Barnes, 20.1. And Jacob Chambers, no longer with us, but still 16.3. Now, let me also add in a few names of some people who finished with double digits for the regular season in scoring. So, Ronnie Wyatt, 15.4. Ronald Tuck, 14.5. Corey Van Oos, 13.5. William Haywood, 12.9. Dalton Zorns, 12 points. And edging in that last spot there, Nathan Harold, 10.4. So there you go. There are the scores for the season in average. All right, what has turned out to be a pretty fun segment based on the reaction of the players is the Rookie of the Season. So I'm hearing a lot of chatter, a lot of talk. At the beginning, Van Hoos was leading the charge for Rookie of the Season. Obviously, he's not with us right now, so that leaves a spot open. So who moves up into the spot? Just looking at the average scoring, Ronnie Wyatt with a really big week was averaging somewhere in the 10 to 15 point range. Is now moved up in over 15. Moves him ahead scoring wise over Ronald Tuck. Ronald Tuck has played consistently throughout most of the season. Ronnie Wyatt is catching fire. Now, just like you in any other league, it's the guy that, what have you done for me lately kind of thing. Who you thinking about? Who's in your memory whenever you go to vote for the Rookie of the Season? Nathan Harold is another guy whose game has improved quite a bit, and he's having his moments. I'm not sure if those moments are enough to get him into the top position, but right now, there's your three major candidates for Rookie of the Season. Ronnie Wyatt averaging 15.4, Ronald Tuck averaging 14.5, and Nathan Harold averaging 10.4. Hey, Rook, we got our eyes on you. And And before we go, let's talk a little bit about the playoffs. But before we get to that, I'd like to remind the league, everyone, I pull the jerseys out, I put them out for you guys, and then what's happening is y'all taking the jerseys, you wearing it, and then you take the dirty jerseys and throw it with the clean jerseys. So I tried separating them a little bit further away, and you keep doing it. So it's causing me a problem with figuring out which ones are the clean jerseys and which ones are dirty jerseys. So I ask everyone, please put your jerseys in the bag. Don't throw it in the where all the jerseys are, and because I don't wash all of them. I only wash the ones that are dirty. So please keep this in mind. Help me out. Make things a little bit easier. So now on to the playoff discussion. All right. So now let's talk about the playoffs. 4 teams, 4 seeds. In the 4th seed, Fast Attack at 2-7. They'll be playing the number 1 seed in the 2nd game on Monday. In the 3rd seed, Next Gen, last season's champion at 3-6, will be the 3rd seed. And they will be playing the number 2 seed in the 1st game on Monday. In the 2nd seed is version 3. 4 and 5, they will be playing the number 3 seed. So that's version 3 versus Next Gen in the 1st game on Monday. Now, the number 1 seed, the undefeated 2.0, who should be at full strength come Monday, they will be playing the 4th seed, Fast Attack, in the 2nd game on Monday. So there you go. There's the playoffs. There's the weekend review, the update. I think that it's going to be exciting playoffs. It's going to be lots of fun. We're going to try to see if we can't get some of the student body to come out and watch the championship game, which will be held on Wednesday at about 4 o'clock. So we look forward to that and hope that you guys are enjoying yourselves and enjoying the Ballers League Weekend Review. For everyone, this is Mr. Romero, and we'll talk to you next week.